Well, our 13-man team marches on in all competitions, but I'm not sure marches is the right word when it comes to the Champions League. We're back pretty quickly for a big double header as we've got another of the big boys in the Bundesliga. But first, we've got a decision to make at home to Monaco. Do we try and sneak in the top 24 or do we just accept defeat? Yes, hello and welcome along to part 83 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We are back today with three players either injured or doubtful, which, as you know from the last episode of my meltdown, is a big problem at this current stage of this save. We've got a few players with new deals and a few youngsters stepping up, but for today, it's all about Monaco and RB Leipzig. Defeat against Dortmund leaves us 3 points off the top. Leipzig are the other side above us on points. But we've got the chance to get closer today. But can we keep up with the fixture congestion? If you're looking forward to finding out how our 13-man team gets on, then do put a thumbs up on the video. But for now, let me take you through the couple of games off camera, which, as you can see from the top right of the screen, have been a little bit of a mixed bag. Because of match load, we actually got to go fairly strong at Liverpool. Didn't make a blindest bit of difference. We made loads of changes at 3 or 4 just to try and rotate and rest people in the squad. In the end, it was an absolute humiliation as their star striker Callum Joyce tore us apart, and even experienced Trent Alexander-Arnold got one too. And the flip side of that, we did have a positive moment for Stefan Minkwitz off the bench, a young star who came on and scored a really good goal. He's not quite good enough to step up regularly, so maybe odd Bundesliga sub appearances, which are going to be required, but for now, not a regular by any means. Since then, though, a 3-0 win against Frankfurt with a De Ligt header and a brace from Helson. Our home record, particularly defensively, has been perfect so far. But on the road, we've had our struggles, not scoring more than one in a game and not winning a single one. So let's see if we can put that right today. It's not going to be easy, is it? I mean, the only good news we can take is that the window's shut. We've not now lost any more players, but given the state of the situation we're in, we've either just got to get through to January and hope that we can sneak in a top 24 in Europe and then get a few players in. Maybe we can stay in that Bundesliga race and then the director of football goes mad. But this has been a chastening experience. And to be honest, if a job comes up before then, I will be out because this is basically unmanageable, this situation. We're looking at the security. There are a few insecure jobs about, but none of them really near that top level yet. So for now, we'll be wishing we stayed at Marseille and getting through to Monaco at home. We know this team pretty well because, of course, we played them in our final 2 games in charge of Marseille. We beat them in the league. They beat us in the French Cup final, stopped us winning a trophy there. They've still got Lavia, who we recognise. Brandao up front was brilliant against us. And they've got a good goalkeeper too. Singer at right back, not bad. A lot of good players in this squad, to be fair to them. We're being recommended to make a couple of changes. I'm not sure we're going to do what it says, but we have got a problem at left back. Altus coming in is telling me to play an injured Davis and an injured Sanchez, which we're not going to do, but we will put them on the bench. For now, though, I'm looking at this as a big game, and do I want to take risks? We've got a very heavy match load for our left back, a young start at 1.5 ability. Do I maybe bring in a different one, but he's not a natural wing back? This becomes really problematic at this stage. But when you look at us beating Frankfurt with players like Altus in the 11, it does show that we're doing pretty well overall, doesn't it? Let me get the 11 pick for today and mainly try and fill a bench for the Champions League. Heidenfeider is back from injury. He's not great, but we'll chuck him on there. Don't really need any more right wingers. Although the young one who was on the bench is now injured for 6 weeks. So that is another problem we've got to contend with. I just don't really feel anyone else is good enough to compete. And I don't want to put Dross on the bench because it doesn't promote being your best and trying to improve. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll have one space, but so be it. We've got to decide, do we make any changes from the 11 that started at the weekend? Rodrigo Ribeiro has got a light match load. We can bring in Hervenhov and maybe go for one more in a wide area. So Helson could have a rest. We could give Pino a few minutes. Wirtz could go out. I think Helson was the star of the last game and he's the top scorer. I don't really want to drop him out. So we'll leave it for now. And then it will probably be Hervenhoff for one of the attacking 3 at the weekend. We're also going to look in midfield because Skelly really struggling, Sabaya a bit too. There's just not options. We know that now. It's Crumry in goal, Ortus and Fernandez the fullbacks with Korsavic and the league centre-half, Skelly and Sibaya at the midfield 2, Pino, Wirtz and Helson the attacking midfield 3, and Rodrigo Ribeiro up front. Not the greatest team in the world, no depth at all. The only senior subs that are fit are Hervenhov and Marquinhos. So let's go and get through to this one and see how the 11 gets on. Well, 2 more new subs and squad numbers handed out as they drop out the young Japanese superstar. I'm just looking for the bench for any more familiar names. I don't see any at the minute. We know they're a good side. They've got a stronger squad than us. And of course, we saw last season what they can do, especially that damage they did to us in the cup final. So let's get the lads inspired and motivated. Let's get into the first half. Here's the Champions League music back on after an eventful day on a Saturday with the Southend save. As Skelly gets the ball in, we're still going with the music. I tell you what, let's just get that off for now, eh? We don't need it playing through the whole half. As Korsavic picks the ball up to Lewis Skelly. The Europa one, once you press continue early, it stops. Champions League just carries on, but who cares for now? Because Thiago Fernandez flying forward from right back. Pino looked for him on the overlap. He cuts in on his left. Both of the wingers on that side, the winger and the fullback, both are right-footed. Left-footed, sorry. But Fernandez cuts in and finds a really good finish. And Pino can bring the ball away. 1-0 up, this would be a real boost. If we can just win enough games to sneak 24th place, I don't care about when the home advantage is in the second leg of that playoff round, but just to get through, keep that job expectation going would be great. And to be honest, if we can keep 11 of these 13 fit for these games, it would be fine. But now we're looking at Sabaya with a bruised thigh. Probably all right with a bruise, but if he pulls anything, he's got to go off. And I'm also looking at what do we do for the weekend as Ortus. Oh, he nearly gets his first as well. A couple of the youngsters really delivering. And I think while we can get away with carrying 1, playing 3 or 4 at once is going to be problematic as Helson gets down the left here. Chance to cross from the byline. Into the box is cleared well. Only as far as Sabaya and Jeremy Pino's there. First of the season for him. It's been a poor start to the campaign. But he swings his left at it. He makes it 2-0. And this is a really important result. If we can win this, if we can get something off Midtjylland, we can just sneak a couple of home results. It should be enough to get us in that 24 and through after Christmas. Where, look, if we are still here in January and the director of football doesn't go mad signing people, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. He's got to. And I know a few of you in the comments say just resign or why don't you add players to the transfer targets and that. But the point is, we've got to expose Football Manager at times like this. We've got to show where it's unrealistic because otherwise there's no learning process, is there? And we've had a lot of good director of footballs this year. We've got to live through the bad as well. As the league gets in from the right, at the moment though, you've got to give it to these boys. They're knackered. They're playing every 3 or 4 days. And they're finding a way to win games. And the last 2, we've actually looked pretty good. At Frankfurt, we were 3-0 winners and comfortable. And here, we're 3-0 up against Monaco. We've been fabulous so far. So let's get through another 10 minutes. If we can keep the score like this, I will look at giving a few a rest for the weekend. Particularly Helson, the top scorer. Wirtz struggles in that 10 role as well. As here's Pino on the right to Fernandez. Back to Pino again. Cross is blocked. It's out to Zabaya on the right, who again had that knock. We'll rest him too. He cuts it back for Fernandez. And Skelly. Is that a penalty? Doesn't matter. Falls for Ortus. Chance to shoot. He scored. Philip Ortus makes it 4-0. And the academy star for the second Champions League game in a row has put one in the back of the net. This is a really proud moment for me. And where is it coming from? This league is loaded. We played Monaco last year. We know they're good. As Lewis Skelly nearly makes it 5. I'm only going to get to 55 or so and I'm going to start resting people. We had that luxury against Frankfurt. We gave the leagues half an hour. We gave Fernandez half an hour. And we're reaping the rewards. And we're going to do the same now. Because we're approaching that hour mark and there are a few tired legs out there. So first of all, Helson's not had a great game anyway. He's going to be replaced by Marquinhos. We're also going to take off Wirtz for Minkvitz. In fact, it might even be Hergenhoff because I'm looking at where we've got options here. Let's go Rodrigo Ribeiro out wide. He can switch with Wirtz. Pino in the middle. Ribeiro off the left, Marquinhos off the right, and up front we'll go for Hervenhoff. The two senior subs are on. Markovic can play in midfield. He's a decent enough player. He'll come on for Lewis Skelly. Now, can Minkvitz do it? What I'm thinking here is, could we go to the formation we used with Marseille, with one just in front of the other? I don't think it would be a problem. We'll keep Markovic in there as a deep line playmaker on support. And we'll have Minkvitz in here as a deep line on defend or support. It doesn't matter. That should do just about fine. And then at centre-half, now will come on for Korzevic, who is the only senior defender not to get a rest in the weekend fixture. So let's make sure that we get through this game. Hopefully we won't pick up any injuries. I know playing in holding midfield, we did have that risk with Sabaya, but he's off now. So we're 20 to go and at 4-0 up. I think we just count our lucky stars here. Fernandez, of course, is struggling with fatigue there. But he's had a good game. He'll get 4 days off after. And he can be one that we rest at the weekend. Same for Pino. It's going to be one hell of a job managing fatigue here. As Marseille picking up a point at Newcastle. Facundo Torres still going there. But what a night this has been. A 4-0 win, which even levels our goal difference out. And a fabulous performance for the second time in a week at home with this brittle Bayern Munich squad. I'm still in the fight. I'm still going for it this year. We're going to rest people in the away Champions League games or against the big teams. But when we've got these opportunities, we're going to go for it. Now we've got 4 days off before Leipzig. That game is absolutely massive because if we can avoid defeat, we're still very much in the early title mix. And then there were 12 because now we have lost our first choice centre-half. And this one is arguably the most worrying of the lot. Because of the sales at the end of the window, I don't think we have a senior sub here. I don't think we have any senior sub defenders. So this one could be the most damaging. 5 to 6 weeks for Alan Korzevic, and while half of that's the international break, he misses a big game at the weekend and a few big weeks after it. That is far from ideal. Well, when it comes to fitness, it's 1 in, 1 out because Dylan Sanchez is available. And to be fair, Davis looks like he's there too. But the big news is we've got to find a centre-half because we're in trouble here. It could be a case of shuffling around a defence, or it could be a case that we are without some star players. So let's see what we do this time. We're going to get through to the fixtures on Saturday night. Looking at the earlier games, a big result for us by Leverkusen dropping points. But we go away to Leipzig now with one senior centre-half. I'm starting to feel like the Luton manager in real life. But at least his are due to 13 injuries, and not the fact that his director of football just didn't let him sign anyone. So let's go and see what we can put out today. They're recommending Nauer, who is a sub centre-half with a very heavy match load, Let's have a look at the B team, because there was a player, Altrock. Oh, he's got injured as well. This is a joke. Even our youth centre-half is injured. We have got nothing left, have we? Veninger is terrible. There's got to be someone who can do it competently, perhaps, for the weekend. That's what we're going to be relying on. They've got greyed out players in the youth team. I mean, how is this happening at an elite club? You're only 1 injury away, aren't you? So, let's look at what we can do today. Alphonso Davies is back. He is left back without doubt. No problem with that. Altus gets a well-deserved rest, possibly. He can't cover centre-half, so he doesn't help us there. Thiago Fernandez is 6 foot and at the worst can do a job. But I don't think that leaves us any better off at right back. So I think we are going to have to play Nauer. He's 6'6", he can head a ball. He's a 1-star central defender. It's not what I was hoping for at the start of the night, I'll be honest with you. We have got decisions to make in other areas because Dylan Sanchez is possibly fit. I don't know I want to risk him from the start straight away. We'll probably stick with Helson today. And I might stick with the same starting team, but then just change who I bring on. We're going to have to play now a centre-half. Let's just make the decision. On the bench then, I mean, we've not even got a replacement if he has a bad game. It's a really difficult position. I'm going to go for, we'll go for the youngster, Heidenfelder. And it leaves us with 3 senior subs, but all attacking players. 1 youth player at centre-half. And then, well, just an assortment of rubbish beyond that. And even Altus, who's done all right, is now knackered. Can any of our other players play centre-half? Florian Wirtz can play holding mid. Zabaya is 5'9" and 3 jumping reach. Skelly, he can play centre-half a bit. Again, then who's our sub in holding midfield? It doesn't help, does it? Unless it's one of the wingers by default. Maybe Rodrigo Ribeiro. Want to do us a job at centre-half? Doesn't look like it. Hervenhoff, any magic from you? Absolutely not. So this is the team we're going for. Alphonso Davies back in after injury at left-back. And now we're in for the injured Korsavic, which is a huge downgrade in defence. And just as we got one youth player out of the team, we're back in with another. Not ideal as we face Leipzig, one of the best sides away from home. Let's just hope for a miracle. If we can keep a clean sheet in this one, I will really start to believe we've got a chance this year. Well, Matthias de Ligt has ended his unhappiness about our squad depth in goal, and I'm hoping that he's going to deliver one hell of a monumental performance. He cost us away at Dortmund in the last minute, but now he's playing alongside a youth player who has never played. It's not even his first position centre-half now. We just need him to have a miraculous game. We need Davies to be fit and firing, and we need something special to happen up front, which I'm not sure it will, as now it has the ball at the back to Sabaya. Wide to Alphonso Davies, and now Helson. Can we break away with Wirtz? We can't, because he passes it straight to Dani Olmo. At the back for Leipzig. Time on the ball. Pedro Guerrero in the centre circle. Support from Sadat, and it's back to Costello. The skipper looks wide to Van Bommel. And he's got space to run into as well. Beats his man with ease, and it's up to Olmo. Chipped over the top of Alphonso Davies. We can't have him failing to defend. You've not got any support inside you, Alphonso. You need to be in form. At the moment, he's not. With 12 gone, it's 0-0. We've had a warning sign on our goal. I must say, aside from that, with a quarter of the game gone, it's been fairly quiet. We've restricted them, which is good, but we've not offered much of an attacking threat away from home this year. As now at the back, just a simple pass. Matthias de Ligt is there. Sabaya goes wide to Fernandez. He's going to be running on empty later on. But what's he got for now? Support down the line. Yeremy Pino is there. Options in the middle. Can he find the ball in? Has support from Fernandez again. Turns on his left. Lewis Skelly into Wirtz. Is he onside? Just off, and it was saved anyway. But a nice little move that. No shots on target for either team, but we're doing all right here. It's just got that feeling though, hasn't it, of the Dortmund game where we kept it tight for a while. As we tired later on in the day, it didn't go well. Helson is knackered and he's picked up a pull thigh. We're not risking muscular injuries. He comes off for the now back to fitness Dylan Sanchez, who will play 50 minutes. And that is going to be a problem this year with these players having heavy match loads all the time. We're going to get more muscle knocks. We're going to get strains. As Yeremy Pino into the leg to cross goal. Headed off the line. Ribeiro was trying to poach. Lewis Skelly 30 yards out. Finds Fernandez. Oh, just over the bar. He's an attacking threat, is Fernandez, but he doesn't find the goal. As a result of that, it stays 0-0. But I'd argue later on in the half, at least, we've had the better chances. At the break, we are still level. We are doing all right. And the good news is, if we can get to January and compete, then if we do sign players, these games will all be at home the second half of the year, which is exactly what we'll need. Let's pump the fist. Let's go. And in fact, no. Let's go. Outstretched arms. You're doing all right. Keep it up. We need to build confidence here when the lads are playing quite well. Lewis Skelly's having a storming game. Pino's struggling, but we've got Marquinhos. Ribeiro struggling, but we've got Hervenhoff. I don't mind taking those two off. It's what we do beyond that that's a problem. I'm going to try and get them to the hour mark because I've only got 2 sub breaks left with that injury. Now it's Iran Kunda on the right-hand side. And Alphonso Davies again doesn't defend it well. The goalkeeper is caught in no man's land. His biggest strength was apparently his commanding of the area. Not there. It's headed over the bar. We get away with it. And now we're going to make those changes. Ribeiro still building his fitness after injury. Hervenhoff for him. Marquinhos on for Pino. Produced a moment of magic in another game this season. But with 2 more subs remaining and no more senior subs available, we're in a bit of trouble because Davies is back from injury. Wirtz is struggling. We got nothing, man. We've really got nothing. But Seevold is on a free kick into the box. De Ligt heads up more than a weight. Fernandez flicks on. Hervenhoff, he's done so well there. Holds it up for Marquinhos, the sub, who gets running down the right. He goes towards the byline. He's beaten 2. Cuts in on his left. He's 1-on-1. What an effort that is by Marquinhos. Good save by the keeper. Hervenhoff did great. But it's tipped away. It's a corner kick and Wirtz is on it. To the back post. The leg is up. Headed clear. Marquinhos will chase. But I don't think we're going to find a breakthrough, are we? We just don't look enough of a goal threat away from home. And particularly against these top sides. In fairness, we've played Gladbach, Dortmund, Liverpool. and now Leipzig on the road. It's not been an easy start. I'm going to take off Florian Wirtz for Minkwitz, who's not a bad player by youth level. Now, my only other options really are Markovic in the holding role or Altus at fullback. I think we're going to have to do Altus for Davis. I know it's a bad sub in terms of improving quality, but I don't want Davis to pick up another injury. And we know Canada are going to play him because we've got a free kick right on the edge. Dylan Sanchez back in the team after injury. Had a poor game since coming on. Oh, and almost produces the moment. Minkwitz across the box. Hervenhoff shot blocked. This is the most encouraging away display so far, I'd say. Ceballos on the corner. Can we just nick the win that we arguably deserve? The league loses out. Hervenhoff chases. It doesn't look like it's coming again. Minkwitz back to Nauer. Out to Ceballos. Onto his right. Ceballos over the bar. 5 to go. It's still 0-0. We're playing so well in this game. We've been the better team. We've been the more threatening. With 89 gone, it's another corner. Sanchez flicks on. Just over the bar. It's been a cracking effort. But we've got to make sure we don't lose it now if we can't win it. As Marquinhos gives it away to Fernandez, who's won it back in the box. Fernandez to Marquinhos. Back to Skelly. Altus is there. He scored one in midweek. That one's over the bar. It was almost the moment again for Philipp Altus. A 0-0 draw at Leipzig, but a clean sheet with a 6'6", well, useless centre-half in is remarkable. The whole left side of our defence was a youth team when we got to the end of the match, and now we're actually had a really good game. So a massive effort from the boys. To compete is remarkable, and we keep Leipzig within 2 points, which is crucial at this stage of the season. We're still within 2 at the top. I know Dortmund could change that. But we just need to be in touching distance come January. And then if a couple of players come in, I know, wishful thinking, then maybe we could still have a very good year. Maybe with all that money now, they'll find targets and rebuild me a brilliant side. For now, though, in terms of 2 games, I'm thrilled with those performances. Really pleased with the results. Nagelsmann, no animosity. Oh, I didn't realise he was the manager of Leipzig. Helson is out for 6 to 10 days. He'll be back after the internationals. And Crumry, since that Liverpool game, has not now conceded. That's a really good effort from him. Not bad for a backup keeper. If we go and have a look at the schedule though, this is where we are in season 10. The next 2 cup games are probably the most crucial because Midtjylland away and Mainz away, chances to progress in the Champions League and the DFB Pokal. It's a run of league fixtures that you would expect a few results from, certainly at the very least wins at home and draws away. But I think you know when we're going to be back looking at this schedule. The one big boy we haven't played yet is Bayer Leverkusen, and they are in the same week as Real Madrid at home at the end of October. So we are going to get through as far as that, and we'll return for a massive doubleheader against the Spanish Giants and against one of our title rivals. Will we still be in the mix at that point? Will we still have 11 senior players fit? All of those answers are to come as we go along. For now, though, if you did enjoy this one, gritty, gutsy defensive performances again, and a bit of flair at home in the Champions League, then do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know if you think we can keep 11 players fit. Do you think I'm being optimistic, hoping that signings will come in January? I'm just sort of assuming that there will be some additions, because why on earth wouldn't there be with the money in the bank? We're adding to it with Champions League victories. Can we get through in that top 24? Fingers crossed we can. If you want to stay up to date and find out all the answers and see if we stay in the Bundesliga title race too, and subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time as we head through another 2 massive home games in a space of 4 days. Real Madrid and Bayer Leverkusen. It don't get much bigger, does it? Between now and then, though, we'll be back tomorrow with Southend United, the 10-year bookmark, as we have a look in the footballing world and see what's been changing, who's been winning all the big trophies, and of course reflect on a memorable season, which you can see the conclusion of up in the eye above if you missed it on Saturday. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular live streams and regular football prediction shows. So make sure you come and join over with those if you haven't before. Thank you very much for watching this one as always. We move into a new week in a slightly happier mood, but I realise we're only 2 injuries away from not having a senior squad. Hopefully those won't come in the next few weeks and I'll be in good form and a happy place when I return to see you next time.